Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, November 23rd. A very cold morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. In some areas it may be the coldest so far this season. Low temperatures this morning way down into the 20s in many parts of the suburban areas of the big cities along the I-95 corridor. Some frost in some locations. The winds finally diminished overnight, and that allowed temperatures to drop to even lower levels compared to the past few nights, and it allowed for some frost to develop in some outlying areas. Today will be a good day for traveling. Dry, cold, but a lot of sunshine early today. Some clouds late in the day. A weak system pushes into the area late tonight and on Thursday, and it will produce just a touch of light rain or drizzle at times from late tonight into the day on Thursday. Certainly not a heavy rain event. Certainly not a total washout on Thursday. It could be cold enough, especially at the onset in some of the far northern and western suburbs of the big cities along the I-95 corridor, for some ice pellets to mix in late tonight, early part of tomorrow. But even that should not be a serious problem because the precipitation will be very light, and it could actually stay dry right through the overnight hours. There is a chance of a touch of light rain late tonight, a better chance on the day Thursday. But again, not a heavy rain event by any means. It will not be a nice day on Turkey Day, mostly cloudy and chilly, just a touch of light rain or drizzle at times. Let's start off by taking a look at the tropics. We did develop Hurricane Otto over the past couple of days, way down in the southwestern part of the Caribbean Sea. This is not common, but it's certainly not unprecedented either. We had a hurricane in a very similar time, very similar location in 1969, Hurricane Martha. That actually ended up making landfall in Panama, which till now is the first known hurricane to make landfall in Panama. Otto actually weakened slightly overnight. It is currently a tropical storm status, very close to hurricane status, but it did weaken enough to be downgraded from hurricane to tropical storm, 70-mile-per-hour winds. So it's going to teeter on the edge of being a tropical storm or a hurricane over the next 12 hours or so, and it'll continue moving to the west and head into the pretty much the border region of Costa Rica and Nicaragua, Central America, and eventually it'll cross over and move into the Pacific. When that happens, the name will be changed. Otto is a name for the Atlantic Basin. It will get a new name once it crosses over into the Pacific. Absolutely no effect from Otto on the U.S. mainland. Well, we're still suffering the effects of that Arctic blast that arrived on Saturday night here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Really quite an impressive cold air outbreak. Very cold temperatures, and now we're 3 or 4 days past that frontal passage. In fact, as I mentioned at the onset, some of the coldest temperatures so far with this particular air mass occurred early this morning, and it stays way below normal today with high temperatures confined to the 40s in most sections along the I-95 corridor. Well, looking ahead, the Arctic Oscillation remains generally in negative territory over the next couple of weeks, and the pattern change, I think, definitely occurred with that frontal passage over the weekend. We'll look back on that mid-November. It was around November 18th when that Arctic blast arrived, and see that I'm quite sure will be kind of a pattern changer, as many days before that were above normal and many days following that will be below normal. Certainly not every day will be below normal from here on out, but we'll have more frequent cold air outbreaks, and they will last a little bit longer than they did before that frontal passage and that pattern change. Again, the Arctic Oscillation kind of generally remains in negative territory. This is suggestive of high latitude blocking forming over places like Canada and Greenland, higher pressure than normal. That in turn tends to send cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern U.S. Well, let's take a look at the immediate future, the weather for today, tonight, and tomorrow. A lot of people traveling. Again, today, dry conditions up and down the I-95 corridor, no problem at all up until midnight. Today is in terms of driving conditions. We have to go way out to the Ohio Valley to see any precipitation associated with this approaching system. It looks quite impressive out here over Indiana and western Ohio, but it tends to weaken as it crosses over the mountains. It'll be a struggle to get precipitation in here in the overnight hours. It could happen again. It could be a touch of rain, possibly mixed with ice pellets, far to the north and west of the big cities. Late tonight towards morning, a little bit better chance of a touch of rain or drizzle at times during the day on Thursday. Not an all-day event, not a total washout by any means, certainly not a heavy rain event. Again, there could be a few ice pellets mixed in early tomorrow, far to the north and west of D.C., Philly, New York City, but this tends to weaken as it crosses over the Appalachian Mountains. Well, let's take a look at the forecast maps from last night's 0Z GFS model run. We'll begin with this evening's 0Z 24-hour forecast from last night, and we'll walk through the forecast maps into the afternoon hours on Thanksgiving Day. Here is the precipitation by early this evening, moving rather not intensely, but certainly uniformly into the Appalachian Mountains. But we'll see in a moment here that it's going to have trouble crossing over the Appalachian Mountains. It tends to break up some. Again, dry conditions right to midnight up and down the I-95 corridor thanks to this high pressure here right along the eastern seaboard. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for just after midnight. Notice just a little bit of precipitation up across northern Pennsylvania, maybe interior northwestern New Jersey, but it pretty much breaks apart, does not even make it to the ground level anyway in the D.C., Philadelphia region here. So just a chance of a touch of light rain towards morning, the wee hours of the morning. And again, if that happens, there could be a few ice pellets mixed in. Let's now jump ahead to early tomorrow morning. And still, even early tomorrow morning, the GFS is having trouble putting down any kind of precipitation here east of the Appalachians. Again, there can be a touch of light rain or drizzle tomorrow morning, and if that happens, far to the north and west of the big cities, could be a few ice pellets mixed in. Don't be surprised if some areas stay dry right through tomorrow morning. Finally, here's the forecast map for early tomorrow afternoon, Thanksgiving Day. And by this time, there finally is some light precipitation indicated by the light greens here on the GFS model, all the way from basically from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. So probably the best chance for some light rain or drizzle will come in the midday or afternoon hours on Thanksgiving. Anything that does fall late tonight, early tomorrow morning, could have a few ice pellets mixed in well to the north and west. But again, today will be a dry day for traveling purposes up and down the I-95 corridor all the way till at least midnight tonight. No problems at all in terms of driving conditions. Another weak system moves in later Friday, and it could cause a few showers Friday afternoon into the early evening. Again, not a heavy rain event, more of a nuisance type of event Friday afternoon into early evening, and then basically dry conditions expected on Saturday. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist